I'm going to give you a phrase that will change every relationship you have. Not just romantic, your friendships, your family, your work, everything. It's 4 words. And if you actually use it, you'll diffuse conflicts in minutes instead of hours. You'll make people feel heard when they thought nobody understood. You'll turn arguments into collaboration. Here's the phrase, what do you need? In this video, I'm breaking down why this question works, why men almost never ask it, what it reveals about how we're wired, and exactly how to deploy it so it feels natural. And if you stay until the end, I'll reveal why asking this one question is the foundation of fixing male isolation. Welcome back to Deeper Dudes. But first, let's talk about why most conflicts spiral out of control. Here's what usually happens. Someone gets upset. Could be your girlfriend, your boss, your mom, whoever. They bring a complaint. And here's where most men go wrong. We immediately go into problem-solving mode or defense mode. We try to fix it, or we try to prove we're right. Well, actually, here's why that's not fair. I did try to call you, but you always exaggerate. We're defending ourselves. We're explaining ourselves. We're trying to win the argument. And the more we defend, the more upset they get. Because what they actually needed in that moment wasn't a defense. It wasn't a solution. It was to feel heard. But we don't know that. So we keep trying to fix or defend. And they keep escalating. And suddenly, you're arguing about something completely different from what started the conflict. You're both exhausted. Nobody's happy. This is the loop most relationships get stuck in. Research shows that 67% of relationship conflicts are perpetual, meaning they never fully resolve. But here's the truth. Most of those conflicts aren't actually about the surface issue. They're about feeling disconnected, feeling unheard, feeling like the other person doesn't care. And the way out of this loop is a complete shift in approach. Instead of trying to win or fix, you ask, what do you need? But here's the thing, and this is critical. You have to actually mean it. You have to be genuinely curious about what they need. Not curious in a sarcastic way. Not curious like, okay, let me hear what you want so I can explain why you're wrong. Genuinely curious, like you actually want to help. So why don't men naturally ask this question? Part of it is how we're wired. Men tend to be solution-oriented. When someone tells us there's a problem, our instinct is to fix it. That's hardwired. It comes from thousands of years of being the hunter-provider. You see a problem, you solve it. But most relationship problems aren't about fixing something tangible. They're about feeling disconnected. And when we jump straight to solution mode, we completely miss that. We're like, okay, so you're upset about X. Here's how we solve X. And they're like, that's not even the point. The other part is that asking what do you need feels vulnerable to us. It feels like we're admitting we don't know what to do. And for men, admitting we don't know what to do feels dangerous. We're taught that a real man has answers. A real man knows what to do. A real man doesn't have to ask. So we pretend we know what's wrong, we jump to solutions, and we alienate the people we care about because we're too proud to ask. There's also the performance-based self-esteem thing. A lot of men base their worth on what they accomplish, how they perform. So when something goes wrong in a relationship, it feels like a personal failure. And instead of getting curious about what the other person needs, we get defensive about what we did wrong. We protect our ego instead of protecting the relationship. But here's the truth that changes everything. Asking what do you need isn't weakness, it's the opposite. It takes real confidence to ask that question. It takes real strength to be that vulnerable. Because when you ask it, you're acknowledging that you don't have all the answers. You're acknowledging that the other person's experience matters. You're putting the relationship above your ego. And that's what actual strength looks like. Not pretending you know everything. Not defending your position at all costs. But being secure enough to say, I don't know what you need right now, but I want to find out. This leads directly into what happens when you actually ask this question. Before we go any further, I want to pause for something important. None of what we've been talking about matters if we don't have the energy and clarity to actually implement it. We all know what it feels like to wake up exhausted. No energy, poor focus, and zero motivation. We also know what it feels like when we get good, restful sleep, targeted therapy, and the right supplements. I've personally tested more things than you can imagine. I'm like your personal guinea pig. Everything I have listed in the description below is science-backed and extensively tested. And if you grab anything through my links, you'll be supporting this channel at zero cost to you. Thanks for taking a look. Now let's get back to it. Let me give you a real example of how this works in practice. Imagine your girlfriend is upset because you forgot an anniversary, or you were late coming home and didn't text. She's hurt. She's mad. The old approach goes like this. I was busy with work. I couldn't help it. You know how much pressure I'm under. You're being unreasonable. Result? She's angrier. You're defensive. You're both miserable. The argument goes on for hours, maybe days. New approach. You take a breath. You remember that she's upset and she needs something from you. Instead of defending, you ask, I can see you're upset. What do you need right now? That question does something remarkable. It shifts the entire dynamic. Instead of her being stuck in anger with no outlet, she now has space to express what she actually needs. Maybe it's, I need you to acknowledge that you forgot. Maybe it's, I need you to show me that I matter more than work. Maybe it's, I just need you to listen. Once she says what she needs, you have actual information. And here's the key. Most of the time, what she needs is not what you would have guessed. It's not the thing you were defending against. She didn't need you to explain why you were late. She needed to know she matters. And the moment you ask and actually listen, not to defend, not to plan your response, but to actually understand, something shifts in her. She feels heard. Her whole nervous system calms down. And the argument that could have gone on for hours gets resolved in 15 minutes. I've seen this happen hundreds of times. A man asks this question genuinely, and the entire tone changes. People go from defensive to collaborative. They stop being adversaries and become teammates again. If this is helping, please hit that like button so more men can find this when they need it most. And drop a comment. What's your biggest communication challenge in relationships? I read every single one. But there's something even deeper happening here that most people miss. When you ask, what do you need? You're doing something that most men never do. You're acknowledging that the other person's inner experience matters, that their feelings matter, that they're not just an obstacle to work around. They're a person with legitimate needs. And that's actually what most people are starving for, especially in romantic relationships. Think about it. How many people in your life actually ask you what you need? Not as an obligation, not to check a box, but because they genuinely want to know. Most of us go through life not being asked that question very often. We're expected to figure it out ourselves, manage our own emotions, not burden other people with our needs. And then we get into a relationship, and we want someone to magically know what we need without us having to say it. And they want the same thing. So you're both sitting there, hurt and confused, because nobody's asking the basic question, what do you need? When you start asking it, and actually acting on the answer, you're offering something rare. You're offering genuine attention, genuine care, genuine connection. That's what people respond to. And here's the thing, it works the other way too. When someone asks you what you need, and you actually answer, and they actually listen, you feel different. You feel seen. You feel like you matter. That's the foundation of everything. Not grand romantic gestures, not expensive vacations. Just, what do you need? And can I help? So how do you actually deploy this in real life without it feeling scripted or weird? First, timing. Don't ask this question when things are escalating. If you're both flooded, if your nervous systems are activated, the question won't land. So the first move is to de-escalate. Take a break. Cool down. A good way to do this. I can see this is important. I want to handle it right. Can we take a few minutes and come back to it? That's not running away. That's being strategic. Once you're both calmer, you can ask, what do you need from me right now? Or even simpler, how can I help? Second, follow it with genuine listening. This is the hard part for a lot of men. Your impulse will be to explain or defend. Resist that. Just listen. If she says something that sounds unfair or wrong to you, stay quiet. Let her finish. You can address it later. Right now, your job is just to understand what she needs. Third, acknowledge what you hear. I hear you. That makes sense. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. You're not agreeing that you did something wrong necessarily. You're acknowledging that her experience is real. Fourth, if it's something you can do, do it. If she needs reassurance, give it. If she needs you to apologize, apologize. If she needs you to take action, take action. Fifth, check in. Is there anything else you need from me right now? That's it. That's the whole system. And yes, it feels simple. But simple is powerful. Here's why I'm bringing this up specifically for men, and why this matters to the overall conversation about male mental health and connection. Men are isolated. We don't ask for help. We don't reach out. We suffer in silence. And one of the reasons is that we've never learned that asking for what we need is an option. We've learned that needing something is weakness. We've learned that a real man figures it out alone. We've learned that vulnerability is for women. But the truth is, asking what do you need, both of others and of ourselves, is the foundation of healthy connection. When you practice asking others what they need, you get better at recognizing your own needs. You give yourself permission to have needs. You stop seeing vulnerability as weakness and start seeing it as strength. And that changes everything. When you combine all three layers, asking what do you need defuses immediate conflict. It builds genuine connection over time, and it teaches you that having needs and expressing them is not weakness but the foundation of being whole. This is how men break out of isolation, not just surviving relationships, but building real connection. Drop a comment. What's one relationship where you're going to ask, what do you need this week? And what do you think will happen when you do? Well, that's it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful, please be sure to give it a like and maybe even subscribe to Deeper Dudes. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. It all helps the channel more than you know, and it also tells us that we should make more content like this. We post videos every other day that tackle real challenges men face. Remember, struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The fact that you took time to watch this means you're ready for something better. Thanks again for watching and for checking out all the amazing products in the description below. They could jumpstart your healing journey. Catch you in the next one, Deeper Dudes. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep thriving.